What's up, gang? It's Jay here, your accountability coach and ghetto psychologist, and it is my life's purpose to help Black people navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. Welcome to Lovely Thoughts channel. On this channel, you're going to get the thoughts of course, yours truly, Jay Lovelii. We talk about everything. Anything going on in the world, we're gonna talk about. If it's something of interest of mine, we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about parenting. We're going to talk about politics, very little. We're going to talk about mostly psychology and sociology because those are the main things that really get my gears going, and especially pertaining to Black people and how we have been brainwashed by the old face. And if you don't know what old face is, I'm extremely anxious, so you know what I'm talking about when I say this. Anywho, today I want to talk about Diddy. I've already made some videos in the past about him. But I think it's important for us to really talk about the state of Black manhood as Diddy is an example, right? And we could just say the state of manhood because Diddy got his example from white people. He got his example from white men. So besides all that, I watched the Diddy documentary. Um, I'm gonna watch it again because I feel like it's just something that I need to watch one more time just to pick up on some pieces that I might have missed. But I watched it all in one sitting pretty much one day. And even though I followed the case very closely, it was very still eye-opening in some parts of it, especially when it came to the men finally coming out and saying that they were being sexually assaulted too. I don't know what the fuck I can say or not on YouTube anymore. Um, and it's just I have to take a deep breath because I think I said this in one of the video I recorded not too long ago, maybe a couple days ago. When it comes to the state of Black manhood, state of manhood in general, of course, but I'm talking about Black people because I love us and we are important to me. I get so disappointed, y'all. Like I'm over the days of crying over it. Well, sometimes I still do, but I'm just so disappointed in Black men. Like, and again, as I have to keep prefacing, it is not the Black men in my family because y'all are always try to project that onto other people. Y'all will be like, oh, you just mad because it's probably your daddy, or you just mad because it's this and that. And even though, yes, I will admit to you that my biological father was not really in my life, but I've always had a father. I've always had a father. I've always had father figures. So if you're looking at this, you might need to go back to some of my other videos where I affirm that I've always had a stepfather, pretty much for more than half of my life. Uh, my grandfather, I lived in a two-parent household with my grandmother and my grandfather. I have a host of uncles, an older brother who's 12 years my senior. So I'm not talking about the men in my family when I talk about men. And we could say, oh, well, it's the men that you choose. Does that make it any better what I'm saying? Why is it that y'all say, oh, it's the men that you choose and try to make it like this direct reflection of our inner worth, our intrinsic value, when you should be like, well, men still should not treat you that way, even though you need to increase your self-love, your self-esteem, your confidence. Two things can be true. Women who choose terrible partners can increase their self-confidence, their self-love, and all of that. But you can also hold a man accountable too for being a bullshit ass man. Cause just because a lollipop has a wrapper off and it's just sitting there for you to lick it, don't mean you should just go lick it just because it's available. Just because you can don't mean you should. And this is the main premise I have when it comes to men. Just because you can play on a woman, just because you can get her to do what you want, just because you can manipulate her, don't mean that you should. Okay? The same go for women, okay? For the people, ooh, what about the women? We talking about men right now. We talking about Diddy, okay? We talking about Diddy. If we find somebody that's just like Diddy who's a woman, I'll talk about her. But the thing is, it's hard to find. And it's not to say that these women don't exist, because half of you men, especially you black men, were literally as aid as children by older women. But ooh, pat on the back because you got some pussy. Stupid. So let's get into it, right? So this Diddy documentary, first of all, let's talk about 50 Cent and his petty behind. I can't even just call it full on petty, because it's like, I think 50 Cent is low key enamored with Diddy. Not because he wants to be like him, but maybe because he sees some parallels between him and Diddy, and he's not trying to fall into that, right? He's a cautionary tale for 50 Cent. And it's also kind of funny for him. Like, it's just something to laugh at. And again, I could just be talking subconsciously. Again, I don't know 50 Cent. I just see what I see. And this is just my psychological analysis. I could be wrong. At least I can admit that I can be wrong, right? But from what I see, what I feel like, and also my intuition, just from all these years watching how 50 Cent and Diddy interact, but mainly how 50 Cent kind of is obsessed. I know I know people ain't gonna agree with me. People ain't gonna agree with me, but y'all don't think 50 Cent is obsessed? And I'm not saying I'm not on Diddy's side. Again, go look at the content. Fuck him. But I'm talking about 50 Cent here. He loves it. He just a tidbit, right? And I don't know if it's because, you know, they share a link with 50 Cent's baby mama, Daphne Joy. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's why he's obsessed, because Mr. Diddy Steal Your Girl strikes again. Diddy has stolen. You go look at the document. Diddy done stole almost every girlfriend he's had. Every girlfriend we see, he stole Misa, he stole Kim, he stole Cassie, he stole Daphne. He keeps stealing these niggas' girlfriends. And let me tell you, this is why I'm finna break it down for y'all. 'Cause I talk about this again in my book. Okay, if you got this far, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. If you watching this far, that mean you like what I'm talking about. Hit a like too. Drop a comment if you're nasty. This here book, this is my book. See, say Jay Lovelii. It's coming out in February for the release. Pre-order is going to be open in January. Okay, just be on the lookout. Again, follow me and subscribe so you'll know. But I talk about Diddy just a smidge in this book, and his type, right? I get into the whole male archetype, because the way society grooms men are very much alike. There is this playbook, right? It's invisible, but it's all in most of their heads, where it doesn't even matter what race of men they are. They all think somewhat like this, where exploitation of women is cool, right? And there's this overall through line, this consensus that I'm seeing when it comes to men, and how they use women to reinforce their manhood. I've been saying this for years, men need women to feel like men. Disagree if you want to. I don't care. Can't change my mind. So don't waste your time. They will literally, and it could be dark or it could be light. It could be, oh, him actually being a provider, him actually being a giver, him actually, you know what I'm saying, being a safe space for a woman. And that makes him feel like more of a man. That is the healthy masculinity, right? But then there's the unhealthy, the dark side, where they want to exploit women, where they want to control women, they want to siphon the feminine energy by really being abusive and not being a safe place. But that's how they can get it, right? That's why it says dark magic, light magic. And either way you look at it, either end of the spectrum, how men interact with women determines how they feel about themselves a lot. Diddy had, and again, a lot of this comes from the first relationship a man has or a boy has with the feminine, with a woman, is their mother. And that is going to shape the type of man he is, and also the type of man, the type of woman that he is attracted to, and sometimes attracts. So if you look at the documentary, you see that. And say his mom, she was rough on him. And these are people that grew up with him, people who actually still love him. And of course, Janice Collins that came out, I didn't never put my hands on you. Blah. Girl, whatever. You would that boy. Probably did more. Somebody, it's been alleged that she did a little bit more than just put her hands on him. So I don't know, could be another R. Kelly situation where they were sexually abused and they just go on to be deviants that go out there and do these things. So I want to talk about this as far as the Diddy's and the R. Kelly's in the world, because there are more out there than we like to admit in our community because we're too busy protecting them. And blind black loyalty is going to cost us in the long run because you guys love the PDFers, you love the essayers, but the queer people, you don't want no parts of them. Why is it you can accept a violent, deviant person over someone who's just having an attraction, a natural attraction to their same sex slash gender? What is that? Right? And again, we dissect that in this book. So speaking of, I want to read this archetype, this male archetype that I came up with. Again, this is my analysis. So, under the patriarchy, there are four common archetypes of male. There is Mr. Popular, charming, probably has terrible character. Most of the girls like him, and all the guys want to be like him. You have Mr. Sidekick, who is best friends with Mr. Popular. He secretly wants to be like Mr. Popular, but he sticks around to receive the perks of being his friend. Then there is Mr. Eccentric, who is like a nerd, geek, and or into different things, and most females may find him to be weird. Disclaimer, I only use female because I'm referring to all females of all age groups, girls and women. Okay, keep it simple. Um, Lastly, you have Mr. Invisible, the guy who is invisible. Very few girls may notice him, and he is the guy likely to become more appealing as he gets older. His personality floats between these three archetypes. So, Mr. Invisible, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson in our community, in the black community, he would be a Mr. Invisible. He would be the man you don't pay attention to until you pay attention to him. Because, like I said, and Mr. Invisible, he flows between all of those archetypes. So, Mr. Invisible can kind of be more eccentric. He might like a lot of different interests, but he's invisible. He's not, and nobody's noticing him. The eccentric guys, they're noticeable, like, because they are so geeky, nerdy that they stand out, if that makes sense. Diddy was a Mr. Eccentric. He stood out. That's why people picked on him. These are the guys who get picked on. Y'all, we all know somebody like this. You grew up and you, as a black person, regardless, you knew a Mr. Invisible who maybe later on in life, he got cute, he got fine, he got money. Now you notice him. Russell Wilson, right? Because nobody was checking for Russell Wilson until he got with Sierra. Sierra, and again, Sierra probably checked for him because she grew out of her attraction of Mr. Popular. Because she grew up with Mr. Popular. Future is Mr. Popular. Future is Mr. Popular. Want to know who's Mr. Sidekick? Drake. Drake. So you got Future, Mr. Popular. Drake, Mr. Sidekick. Diddy, Mr. Eccentric. Russell Wilson, Mr. Invisible. Oh my God. I didn't even think about it like that, but I just broke it all the way down. And y'all can disagree. I don't give a damn. It makes sense. Because, like I said, and going back to what we know about how men operate, and that's why Future and Drake was like this until Future probably picked up on how Drake really was probably slick black a hater. He slick back door motherfuckers like the way I think the main thing that Future was mad at he started with Metro and how Drake handled that whole thing with Metro. If y'all don't know, okay, I keep up a little bit with stuff because I just be bored sometimes. And I be wanting to know why people be beefing. So Metro and Drake are beefing because Metro lost his mom. Just to make the story short, Metro lost his mom, and Drake basically didn't have no compassion about that. He kept on calling him about being on the fucking song. So that made Metro mad. As I would be mad too because if my mama just passed away, nigga, I'm not thinking about no business. Can I put her in the ground first? What are we talking about, nigga? Where my bouquet of roses and stuff? Where my money at? Where the stuff you gonna send? Cause you sorry. Now I don't then and don't do that. And then the next day talk about the song. We'll get to it when I get back to work. I'm not at work. It's rude and very very whack, very lame, very like I said. Only a jealous friend in my mind would do something like that. So maybe Future picked up on that, and now we realize Drake is only he looks like Mr. Popular, but he's Mr. Sidekick, and he's only Mr. Sidekick riding on everybody's coattails. He ride on Future coattails. He rode on Thug coattails. He rode on, of course, Wayne and Nicki coattails. And it's not to say that Drake could never stand alone. I'm a Drake. Let me tell you, I like Drake music. Okay, I'll show y'all my thing. I listen to Drake. I'm not. I'm not. I'm probably not gonna listen to his new work because I'm kind of over him. But I still listen to this Drake. That last song, "60 Songs for You." I love that song. I love that album. Mostly because Part Next Door is on it. But I listen to it. I listen to his music. Okay, so I'm not gonna act like I don't. But the thing is this: I know who Drake is. I can, in this instance, separate the artist and the music. And Drake is not. He's a cornball. He been corny to me. I've been saying that. People who know me in real life know I've been saying Drake is kind of corny. He is. He corny, and it's always going back to how he reacted to Serena, how he reacts to women, how he reacted to Rihanna, how he reacted to women. That's how I know he missed the sidekick. Cause really, he don't know how to get women without the clout he has based off his association and riding the coattails of these other niggas. Moving on. So, Mr. Eccentric, because we made this about Drake and it wasn't even supposed to be about him, but Mr. Eccentric. Okay, let's go back to Mr. Popular because I got to talk about Mr. Popular. Mr. Popular, Mr. Popular. Again, go back. I'm gonna reread this line. Okay, Mr. Popular, who's charming, probably has terrible character. Most of the girls like him, and all the guys want to be like him. That is definitely Future. Can't deny that. Women love Future. I ain't gonna hold you. I might fold for Future. And I'm not talking about in a way I want to be his girlfriend or have his baby, but might have a little rendezvous. I'm sorry. Okay, there is something wrong with some of us as women, and I say this in the book, where we are attracted to the bad boy archetype, the Mr. Popular archetype, because the world tells us pretty much that that's what we're supposed to be attracted to, the bad boy type, because he's what manhood is supposed to represent. Dead ass, like that's just it's psychologically embedded. It could be subconscious, could be subliminal. You might disagree, but your subconscious minds know that this is true. And the problem, and I'm not saying this is for every woman. And the problem again, like I said, we think about Sierra. The world tells you who you're supposed to like these types, but you're young, right? You're young. It's before your own female frontal brain is developed. So you're just going with the flow and what society says you should like, or you should get a bad boy and try to turn him good, at least good enough for you. And we take on these projects, these Mr. Populars, And they do us dirty because they Mr. Popular. Everybody wants a piece of them. He don't know how to say no. Men don't know how to reject women. Men are not taught to reject women. Men are taught that is get as many women as you can because it affirms their manhood. So why would Mr. Popular say no? Hmm. And then the girls that Mr. Popular don't want, they go to Mr. Sidekick, aka Drake. Okay, moving on back to Mr. Eccentric. So Mr. Eccentric, and I want you to know all four of these archetypes that I'm talking about, archetype, I keep going back and forth with that pronunciation. All four of those archetypes that I'm bringing up, they're going to have at least a little element of misogyny. Misogyny is in all of us, just like anti-blackness is in all of us, because it's the conditioning of the world. We are in a patriarchal system of white supremacy. You are going to have even just a little bit of anti-blackness and misogyny. So, Mr. Eccentric. Mr. Eccentric is going to likely be the most misogynistic out of these four because not only was he typically unable not to get girls, he was always made fun of. His manhood was always tested. Granted, most of the time the manhood was tested by other men, but women are not looking at him. That's the attention that he wants. He wants the approval. He wants male approval, but female attention. This is how men operate. They want male approval, but female attention. So when they don't get female attention, they can respond violently. And Diddy went through years without getting female attention naturally with his intrinsic value. Look at the documentary. So he would just look at these men who did get women and he would try to mimic them. But these men who did get women, they were like pimps or, they were just not a good example. Again, I talk about pimpology in this book. I talk about how black people um, glamorized, glorified, and idealized all those synonymous words. Um, pimp, pimping, right? So he picked up on that, and this is why he would go after these niggas' girlfriends because that was his way of getting back at the men that used to make fun of him. And then he would exploit or abuse the women that these men had, just ruining them because first of all, he was mad at his no good ass mom. And then secondly, because men, again, they use women to feel like men. So if he could exert his power over a woman, what better way for him to feel like a man? Yeah. Kind of broke it down real simple, right? So we have to be careful with how we are really grooming our men in society, in our community, when we are raising our boys. I don't have a boy, but if I did, y'all would not like me and all the things that I would do. Shit, people be thinking I come down hard on my daughter, but if I had a son, my foot would stay on my son's neck because these boys don't have enough discipline. Regardless, even if they got a daddy, they don't be having enough discipline because the daddy don't be having discipline. But they just don't have discipline. And again, I said this in a prior video. Don't confuse punishment with discipline. It's not the same. You need to teach your children, your little boys, how to accept rejection. They don't know how to accept rejection. If you guys could start there with how they interact with little girls, when little girls tell these boys no, instead of being like, oh, it's her loss, or she don't know what she's talking about. Like instead of making it seem like the girl is at fault for saying no, just tell them it's okay. She said no. There are gonna be people you don't like, and that's okay. There's also gonna be people that you find that really like you, that really love you. And that's who you in search for. Don't say you don't need to say yes to every offer. And every offer you make is people are not gonna say yes to you. You have to tell these little boys that because they're not getting it. The hell, they don't even get it in my motherfucking millennial ass generation. Okay? That's why they be often girls who tell them no, because y'all did not teach them the white how to accept rejection. They take it personally. And boys need it the most. Because boys do respond violently in the dating world when they can't get female attention. This is research. It's backed by this. I even have it in my book. I would look for it, but it's in the same. I should let me see. Oh, here we go. I see it's right here. Oh no, that's not true. Hold on, it's somewhere on here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, here we go. So Lindner, this is a quotation, okay? Because I cite my sources. Lindner explained, the way I view male psychology is that there is this kind of machinery that is sensitive to cues pertaining to sexual conflict. I'm gonna break this down for y'all. When male psychology registers failure in the sexual marketplace, it will often respond aggressively. So what she means is the way I view male psychology is that there's a link, there's a kind of machinery that is sensitive to cues pertaining to sexual conflict. When there's something in these men brain that when it comes to conflict with their sexuality, where they not getting enough sex, or women keep telling them no, or even if they are experiencing homosexual tendencies, those failures within the sexual marketplace tend to make them respond violently. This is research. Okay. Scientific research. These are people who are reputable scientists, doctors, whatever. So Diddy is Mr. Eccentric. And what's happening is when Mr. Eccentric again gets money, he just looks like Mr. Popular. And to be honest, Drake is kind of floating into Mr. Eccentric territory. That's the thing. When these men, the archetype can change. Your archetype can change. You can be one way and then shift into a different behavior in a way of being, right? So, like I said, Diddy is still Mr. Eccentric, but the money made him Mr. Popular. The drive, the manipulation, the dark magic made him Mr. Popular. So he transformed into Mr. Popular, but Mr. Eccentric's still in there. Excuse me. And the same thing goes for Drake, wherever he may lie, whether because he might be moving in between. He might used to be Mr. Eccentric, which is not far off, and ventured over into Mr. Sidekick. Because Drake, yeah, again, you can, depending on who he around, right? Too, if he is the only big head in, like the big, I'm gonna say big head, the only big nigga in his crew, which in some instances he is, he will look like Mr. Popular. But he's really Mr. Sidekick at the least. But again, the money made them look like Mr. Popular. That's the hard part. If Drake didn't have money, but he was still friends with niggas like Future and Thug, because Thug and Future are like Mr. Populars. Again, I grew up in Atlanta too, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to male friend group dynamics. There's always gonna be a nigga in the group who's really like the leader of the pack, who everybody look up to, for pretty much everything, whether it's dress, behavior, advice, they look up to him. And Future and Thug is them niggas, right? And somebody like Drake, again, is Mr. Sidekick. He just gives Mr. Sidekick. Like, who is looking up to Drake and his crew? The brokies, just the ones who ain't got no money. But secretly, they don't like him because they know he's not Mr. Popular. Because if he was, even if he was like, even when it comes to like niggas like Drake and I mean niggas like Future and Thug, even when niggas don't like them, they don't call them corny. They just don't like them because the attention and stuff that they get. A nigga like Drake, his friends think that he's corny. That's why all these people coming out calling him corny and because he's corny. He's Mr. Eccentric turned to Mr. Sidekick. Yeah. And y'all gotta understand too in a friend group, right? When there's more than one, Mr. directly under Mr. Popular is Mr. Sidekick in ranking. So when Mr. Sidekick ain't there and the rest of the crew is together, they start. I mean, when Mr. Popular ain't there and the rest of the crew is together, they start to look to Mr. Sidekick like, "What we doing, bro?" Like he the second in charge. So I hope I broke that down to y'all a little bit. Because again, if you want to hear a very more concise way that I explain that, this book is coming out. Thorn to the Eye. It is a Black person's guide to unplugging from the system. Pretty round nuts. I'm gonna tell y'all real quick before I get off here why I named it Thorn to the Eye. Because I know that's gonna be the big question, and everybody asks, what does that mean? Thorn to the eye. Of course, you know what a thorn to the eye is, but this has a very layered meaning. Thorn to the eye. When I have a saying I made a maybe a year or two ago, I said, when you wear rose-colored glasses, you're bound to get a thorn to the eye, right? Because roses they have thorns on the yeah. And this is why our eyes essentially crying blood, right? And then we have this. Does this not look like the crown that was on Jesus' head, the crown of thorns that was on Jesus' head? So Christ consciousness, right? But the thorn to the eye, if you is blinding us, right? It's first of all, you got the rose-colored glasses and you got a thorn to your eye. So there's no way you really can see. So I'm trying to get you to take the glasses off, right? We can take the glasses off, but you still got that thorn because as a Black person, I feel like our glasses is already off. We don't look through the world through rose-colored glasses because we are not afforded to. Most of us as a group, of course, there's case by case basis, but most of us as a group, we don't have the glasses on. The rose-colored glasses have been removed for us. The white people still had theirs on. The other people still had theirs on most of the time. Some of them don't, but most of the time they do. But the white people definitely had theirs on, most of them. You take the glasses off, but you still got that thorn to your eye. You still got the tears, blood tears. So you can't see still how, even though you know you are oppressed, you don't know what areas you have privilege. You don't know how you're oppressing other groups. You don't know how you're oppressing yourself through the whitewashing of society, through religion, through education, through how we look at relationships, through almost every facet of life, right? So I'm trying to get you to move that proverbial thorn out of your eye so that you can see the world clearer. And as I said, blood tears, we already know kind of what that means symbolically. Like, it's just all of this hatred, this pain, this death, this carnage that we keep seeing is ridiculous. And then again, like I said, I just love how this came together because I was like, that looks like the thorns on Christ's head, Christ's consciousness. I'm like, I didn't even mean for that to mirror, but it mirrored. It mirrored. So blessings to you. You got this far again. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel, like my channel. Please, 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 please. I'm going at a very slow, growing at a very slow snail pace. And that's because I'm not doing shorts. Oh, I gotta find the editor. I gotta get into it. And then also just a quick little maybe. I might not need, I might need to be quiet. I might need to keep this in the tuck. I got a surprise coming up though in the next month or two. A new business venture that we're going to embark on. Got a lot of new ideas coming to play. Lovely thoughts might be transformed into something else. We'll see. But anyway, again, if you got this far, I love you guys. I will see you on the next one.